the voices,
Mm-hmm.
and no, we're not talking about no horror movies, and this is not this type of show.
Okay.
But
Right.
the imposter syndrome, the
Mm.
thoughts of am I good enough? Can I do this? Who am I? That self-doubt voice, to be realistic, that voice never goes away.
Be loud.
However, your will
Mm-hmm.
and your self-belief is what will quiet out the noise. It will probably still be there like a whisper, but then you will remember that you are capable. You will lean in on your strengths, because a lot of the times when we have self-doubt is because we're focusing on our weaknesses. I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, this person is better. That's normally when the comparison comes. But when you zone in on your strengths, then the self-doubt really doesn't creep in, because you realize I'm good at that, I'm great at that, this is my element, I'm passionate about this.
Right.
This keeps me going. Like when you're in the zone, Steve, you're in the zone. Nobody can touch you.
That's right.
So once we lean into our strengths, we get to quiet the noise of our self-doubt.
So, like you were saying.
Right. So the final one is fear of commitments, and we can tie that also with fear of failure. Now, fear of commitment is when we hesitate to fully dive into a task or goal because we're unsure if we can follow through the necessary sacrifices. We feel like it might be taking too much from us. So it's like standing on the edge of a big decision and you're wondering, okay, what if I regret doing this later? What if this takes more than I can give? What if it goes wrong and I feel like I've wasted my time? So you have those thoughts and you're just there on this bridge. So that fear of committing, those thoughts is the reason why we're stuck in procrastination and we don't actually do
This
the
also
things that we want to do.
It also sounds a little bit like self-doubt.
Yes, that's why it ties with fear of failure.
Right.
Because with fear of failure, it's basically you worry about making mistakes, you feel like you're not good enough, you might fall short of your own expectations, but you made the expectations. So you can adjust it at any time. But self-doubt definitely is the big thing, because you're frequently questioning if you're capable, if you're skilled enough. Can I really do this? And I feel like if it's a thought, then you can. Because if you think it, you can make it happen. And the fact that you feel like it's a possibility, then that means that you can go for it.
Hold on there, you nearly sounded like a poster, If you can think it, you can achieve it. Was that the poster?
Where is that poster?
Someplace.
I don't even know about that poster. So I'm like almost an ad. Oh my.
Yeah. Look. But go on.
Yes. So this is where we're at. Steva, do you feel like you have any of those feelings when it comes to any of the goals that you have?
Self-doubt, yes, definitely. Because for me, we're going to get a little personal here. Okay.
Yes.
So for me, I have not been really in media for a very long time. Okay. So I think this is roughly my third year in here.
Okay.
So there are so many persons who have been there. They've been doing it, and some of them are younger, more experience. And when I do receive, this has happened more than once, and I think it is something that will probably happen again eventually. But when the opportunity does come, I ask myself, but why me? Like, isn't there somebody else? I think I can think of 3 people who who probably can do this. But then I also sometimes I downplay myself, thinking, I've learned not to do that. I'm not downplaying myself anymore. I'm amazing.
You are.
Hello.
You are. You are. Another thing, the voices, and no, we're not talking about no horror movies, and this is not this type of show.
Okay.
But
right.
The imposter syndrome, the thoughts of am I good enough? Can I do this? Who am I? That self-doubt voice, to be realistic, that voice never goes away. However, your will and your self-belief is what will quiet out the noise. It will probably still be there like a whisper, but then you will remember that you are capable. You will lean in on your strengths, because a lot of the times when we have self-doubt is because we're focusing on our weaknesses. I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, this person is better. That's normally when the comparison comes. But when you zone in on your strengths, then the self-doubt really doesn't creep in, because you realize I'm good at that, I'm great at that, this is my element, I'm passionate about this.
Right.
This keeps me going. Like when you in the zone, Steve, you in the zone. Nobody
Yeah.
can touch you.
That's right.
So once we lean into our strengths, we get to quiet the noise of our self doubts, because our brain is designed to make us survive. So it is used to basically the same things repeatedly. So anything that's new that it doesn't understand yet, it will obviously question it. It'll go back on back data and figure, okay, well, I've never done this before. Are we sure that we can do this time? So it somewhat wants to protect you from possible hurt.
Yes.
That it feel may or may come out from what you're doing. That's what it's for, but the same way it's wired that way, we can wire it to lean into our strengths.
Right. Okay.
So in terms of self-doubt, that's what normally happens. So that also contributes to the fear of commitment, the fear of failure, of feeling that you're avoiding the task because you figure if you fail, people will laugh at you. You'll be judged. You'll not feel adequate. You compare yourself to people, just like what you were doing. This person is better off. This person can do this. This person can do that. All right. Another part of fear of failure also is constantly seeking approval. So you need outside validations to determine if you can do what you're doing.
Right.
And to be realistic, nobody knows you better than you.
It's true.
Nobody knows you better than you. Nobody has the power more than you. You know what you are capable of. But then sometimes we put the outside validation over how we feel about it. So we need to hear. So I need to hear Steve say, "Okay, Sarah, you're actually good at this." Even if I know that I'm good at it, I can see. But then I have to ask her, "Do you think that's good? Do you think that I can do that?" And sometimes the response makes and breaks the decision that we do, because sometimes people are not honest. So the fact that they know you have the potential, they know you have the skill set, they know that it's capable, but in their mind, who are you to do that? They will obviously tell you, no, I don't think you should do that. Yeah. I don't think you can do that. Why don't you do this, that, something else that's probably minimal or something that's within their wavelength, because to them, who are you to climb up? You understand?
It's true.
So something that's surface, they might counter that with, and we're so blindsided in doubt and fear of failure, fear of commitment, that we don't realize that they're actually not even being genuine with us. So they keep you in this small bubble and you never get to move forward. So you hold yourself back for seeking, leaving everything up to outside validation. Yeah. So my first thing to you is stop seeking external validation. You know your strengths. In self-reflection, you could sit with yourself and a simple question of, what am I good at? What do I like to do? And then you just start writing what you're good at, what you like to do, what you people have actually complimented you on, praised you on. Sometimes you're not even seeing it as a strength because you do it so naturally. But then for somebody else, it's like a big deal. Like, oh my God, sure. Steve, how do you do that every day? I'm sure you've heard that. And your mind is like, but you see, like,
what's so special?
What's so special about that? But then for them, they cannot do it.
Yes.
They cannot do it. They struggle with it. For them, it's a big task, and that's one of your strengths. So think of the things that people compliment you about, people highlight about you that you probably figure is minimal. That's a pash thing. That's a big thing to somebody else. So that would be one of the first steps to deal with that procrastination and aspect. If you feel like you're good at it after you've done that exercise, go for it. You don't need anybody to validate if you're good. You validate if you're good.
Right.
Back to our perfectionism thing, where we mentioned that if you get to a solid 70, go for it. Same thing for fear of commitment, because sometimes you don't commit because you figure this might require much of us, but you want it.
It's true.
It's something that you want.
You know, sometimes with that, like that little project that you started, but you have to stay up like probably an extra hour every night. Right. It feels like too much. I want to sleep.
Yes, you want to sleep, but you also want this though. I
want to do it. I want to sleep.
You also want to do this. This has been on your mind for a long time.
Long time.
So you can squeeze now, and I choose my words wisely when I say squeeze, because it's not an essence. The purpose of all of this is not for you to be overwhelmed, but for you to see what is possible if you give yourself a chance for what is possible. Because you've been thinking about it, and even if it requires you to probably do another extra half an hour for a few days, a few weeks, or whatnot, look at the long-term benefits of you getting that done. Look at it being something that you've been sitting on that you finally get to achieve. So stop avoiding the big task
And do the thing.
and do it, because
Just do
another
it.
another sign of fear of commitment is avoiding the big task and trying to stick to smaller ones. And I posted a video recently on my page where I said that your issue with motivation and procrastination is that your goals don't excite you enough. They don't push you enough because you put stuff that are easy to cross out. You're not even trying to challenge yourself. So your goals is something that you know you're going to do, and it doesn't take anything out of you to do, right?
Make breakfast.
Make breakfast.
Make a cup of tea.
You understand?
Drink my second cup of tea. Cross it off
Cross
the
it off
line.
the list. So when you actually watch the goal list and the to-do list, you see it is I don't want to say mediocre, but minimal things that don't actually push them to do it. It's not requiring nothing from you to do it. It's almost like you can do it on autopilot. That's to show you how small the goal is, that you don't even really need to operate or think about it. But we do it because we fear failure. We fear commitment. We don't want to commit to something for so long, so we make those mediocre, small, minimum goals that is easy for us to cross off.
Right.
For example, we could say, I want to start a YouTube, right? So you just say, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel.
Right.
So you start the YouTube channel, you only posted one video, but you cross it off your list because technically you did do what it said. But that didn't require, it may have required a bit to get you through the video if you're somebody that's camera shy, somebody that's not your element and whatnot. You did, I don't want to discredit that, you did get out of your comfort zone and get that done. But then it's still in an essence, it's easy to tick off because you never go back to the channel. And that is something that also gets us to procrastinate and low motivation, is we're not trying to push ourselves to do anything extra.
Right. During the commercial break and the short music break as well, we had a few WhatsApps and we actually took a call off air.
Yes,
So
we did.
yes, we did. So Sarah, do you mind going right in for us?
Yes. So the call was in reference to, it's not really procrastination, but it was about the mindset. And the question was, she is going to be 40 soon and she feels like she's playing catch up because she expects to have certain things by the time she reaches 40, right? And I think many of us are guilty of that, whether it's 40, 30, 25, 28, 18, 21. I feel like once you are actually getting older and you feel like you're growing and with maturity and everything else, you obviously will give yourself a timestamp. So what I will say to you is, you are in control, right? For you to be able to say you feel by that age you're supposed to have X amount of stuff or do X amount, who was the one that made that rule? You made that rule. Which means at any time you can change that rule, you can adjust that rule, because life will keep life, but you do not need to put yourself under pressure. You do not need to feel like you're behind, because nobody's behind in life. Let's be realistic. Everybody's walking their own path.
Right.
So what I want us to take from that call today is, you are in control. You are the CEO of your life. So at any time you can adjust, you can remove, you can modify. They don't have no rules. They don't have no rule book to this. This is your life. This is your life. And yes, by a certain age we want to have certain things, and sometimes life doesn't work out that way. But what happens when we put it that way is that we end up beating up ourselves. We end up stuck. We somewhat even end up procrastinating because we cannot move. We figure out we're supposed to have this, so we feel like a failure. We feel like life is not happening for us. We start comparing ourselves to others. Oh, but Steve's life is better.
Yes.
This person is doing these things. There's even a meme, and we find it funny, but for some people it lingers on their mind when they say, everybody I went to school with, or everybody my age is either getting married, having a baby, and I'm over here, whether it is that they're sipping something, they're sleeping or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's funny.
Yes.
But for some people, they genuinely feel that way and it stays on their mind.
Yes.
And then that's why you end up getting anxiety, you end up getting depression, you end up feeling like a failure. All stemming from the comparison. So what I would say to you is, it doesn't have to be, we live in a world where we feel like everything has to be monetary or everything has to be this gift box that we have to see, but some other things that we can give ourselves is not monetary. Peace of mind is completely priceless. The comfort of happiness is completely priceless. And what to give yourself is to say that, okay, you know what, between now and my next birthday, I just want to work towards being in a better place, whether it is emotionally, whether it is mentally, whether it is spiritually.
We have to remember we're in competition with ourselves, not with other people.
Exactly. So when the time comes and you're whatever age, whatever the birthday happens and whatnot, chances are when you look at it this way, you will be in a better place when you watch it. They say, you know, that time, if it was me, that time last year, I would have been, I know that would have triggered me. I would have been upset about that, and I'm no longer triggered. I am responding differently. And then you realize your growth versus the tangible numbers that we put on figure. Okay, we need that house, that car, that land to prove that we are X amount of age or we're doing those things. No.
Right.
No. So that's what I will say to her today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got this, sis.
You have it. You have it. You have it. Give yourself time. Also give yourself grace. Because we tend to treat others with self-compassion. I'm sorry. We tend to treat others with compassion.
Right.
But we don't treat ourselves with compassion. So we extend grace to others, but we tend to beat up our own selves.
It's true. It's true. Consider when you when you get a little heartbreak here, when you have a little pain, you beat up yourself. Oh, you knew that man was toxic. You knew that relationship was bad. But then if it were your friend, when your friend went through the situation, you tell your friend, I told you, I told you not to do it. But you say, it's okay, my love. It's okay.
Right.
You'll do better. You'll get up. You'll be fine. But then
if it's us, we beat ourselves
up.
Now, if you see, we extend that same grace and that same compassion that we extend to others, we extend to ourselves, we automatically change the game.
Right.
We build a better relationship with ourselves. We somewhat become unstoppable because you realize that you are human and things happen, and it doesn't matter if maybe you were conscious of it, etc., or you later find out. The beating up of the self, let's not do that.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, let's not do that. We need to extend compassion to ourselves. And that is what my brand is all about. Because Sarah Chronicles, the acronym for Sarah is smart, authentic, resilient, ambitious, human. Yes. We have to tie in the human element. And I feel like all of us are smart, all of us are ambitious, all of us have a level of resilience, all of us are authentic in our own way if we choose to be.
Right.
And what ties it all together is the human aspect of it. So this is what my brand is all about.
Okay. All right. So how does procrastination affect relationships?
That's kind of similar to the WhatsApp we got,
Right.
To an aspect, because someone WhatsApp and they ask, they like to see this boy.
Ooh, there we go.
And they didn't say anything, and then fast forward like a week or 2 weeks later, he's now with somebody and they feel hurt.
Right.
Is that some form of procrastination? And I would say yes, in the aspect of self-doubt. Because it had to be self-doubt or maybe pride.
Right.
Your ego. Something got into the way of something that you figured you wanted. So to some extent, you could somewhat class it as procrastination. And in that moment, then you have to take accountability.
Yes.
So the hurt that you feel, you kind of contributed to you being hurt.
You waited too long.
You waited, yes. You should have just
taken the chance. And then whether or not rejection, fear of rejection, that's another thing.
Yes, and that in itself is a whole other topic.
Okay. So I'm just going to back down.
Yeah, because rejection is a big thing.
Yes.
And we don't want to downplay anybody's feelings. But if to what was asked, I would say to some extent you could label it as you procrastinated.
Yes.
And someone asked if just not doing the task is the only consequence of procrastination because they had the finance to pay the bill.
That's right.
Go ahead, and no judgment zone.
True, it's true.
No judgment zone.
You know, it's not judgment. It's not judgment at all. It's relatable.
And they didn't pay the bill, and then they got disconnected.
We've been there.
Yeah. So, yes, procrastination in that aspect has consequences. And some of them are painful consequences, which causes us to act. And unfortunately, some of them are not painful enough for us to act. For example, that some people are okay being the same way for the rest of your life. Not leveling up, not growing, not making any changes.
That's
and they're
comfort.
content. Yeah, they're content
Comfort,
with that. They're okay with that. And for me, that's mind-blowing. Because why don't you want more? And I was saying more to be chasing riches and doing those things. But why not deviate? Why not allow yourself to try something new? Why be just stuck in the habit and we're stuck into this pattern where you somewhat be living your life in autopilot? Try something new. Try something different. Try a different food.
Oh boy.
Try a different experience. I mean, in conversation, all you could speak about is the same things. It doesn't have to be anything. People figure when you say something new, you have to end up doing this life daring thing, like you have to jump from an airplane and skydive.
Right.
For one, I'm not skydiving. So if you want to skydive, that's on you. I'm not going to skydive.
But there are people who would, you know.
They would try it, you understand? But then you
Mm-hmm.
can, when I say try something different, it's as simple as cooking your meal a different way. Sometimes you only cook our lasagna one way. And
Right.
there's different ways you can cook lasagna. Either you add another ingredient to it if you feel like. You don't have no one size fits all for lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
So if every time you're using ground beef, today use ground turkey. You get what I'm saying? Ground chicken. You try.
I understand. I get the gist of what you're saying, but not me with the turkey. Hello.
Well, not for you, Steve. This was not for you.
Okay, sorry.
Because we know you just be trying new things.
We do.
We
I
do.
do. Yes.
So that's for the listeners who are feeling like it's okay to stay in routine, or feel like in order for them to do something new, it has to be this big grand thing. It doesn't. It doesn't. As simple as trying a new meal, if you're into makeup, a new lipstick,
That's right.
a new liner. If you like your hair, new hairstyle, just change up your hairstyle once. I mean, you can look at it and figure, okay, well, you know what, that was a horrible idea. I don't like that hairstyle. That's making my face look a type of way.
Right.
And then you may never do it again, but it's a conversation now. It is something new that you tried. You can say, no, hey, Steve, girl, what day it was I tried that soupy-doo.
But okay, so I can help out a little bit with this part here. There's actually an app for it. If you don't want to do it physically, there's an app for it. You can try on different hairstyles. You can try on different hair colors. You can try on different makeup looks. All of that.
I didn't know that.
Well, you know that now. You know now.
There's technology for everything. Why
Exactly.
am I even surprised?
Right.
Why am I
So you
even
could try it
surprised?
out online, and you can try it out on the app, and then go for it in real life.
Yes.
And no fear.
Yes.
That's for those of us who are you know, a little worried that it's just not going to work.
It is.
Yes.
And I'm happy for the persons that called, and I'm happy for the WhatsApps, guys. Don't be shy. Go
That's
ahead
right.
and get your questions answered. And to wrap up procrastination, I want you to take back all the emotional avoidance, lack of clarity, low self-confidence, fear of commitment, fear of failure. All of it is different emotions tied to procrastination, but the big bad wolf is procrastination. And what we can take from each of the exercises is to break down your stuff into smaller goals, into practical goals. You feel a bit stuck, ask yourself, why is this important to me? Why I want this? Visualize the benefits. Remind yourself why it is worth it, right? Picture the positive. How would you feel after you've achieved it? Would you feel unstoppable? You understand? Would you feel like, you know what, I'm this girl or I'm this guy? Feel the benefits that come with the goal. That can help you. And focus on consistency, not intensity. And these have to do with the 80-20, the 70%, the doing the process and just not focusing on the outcome, but the process in itself. And with just those daily steps, you could realize that you could actually beat procrastination. You can beat procrastination. And if you fear commitment, you fear failure, what you could do is something similar that we spoke about, but this time rather than a 2-minute timer, you could do a 10-minute timer. Mm-hmm. And after you're done in the 10 minutes, watch all what you did in the 10 minutes at the end of it. Before we even try to continue the task, see what you got done within that time. And on your first 2 tries, let's be realistic, sometimes you might not do nothing on the first 2 tries. Because especially if you've been struggling with procrastination for a hot minute,
right?
I know realistically, on the first time you set the timer, you might fall asleep. You might not. You might not do anything. Let's be realistic. Right. You might not do anything. And
you might get distracted.
You might get distracted. You might.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But we are our habits. So I want you to get up and try again. Only as we adults, we just give up so fast. Ever watch a baby learn how to walk?
Right.
You know how many times they just fall?
Plenty.
And each time they get up with the same enthusiasm, they're laughing like they never fall. They could fall for the whole day. Yes. And they'll get back up for the whole day and continue to try again. Only we as adults decide, okay, we do this once, it doesn't hope we give up. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the disconnect happens from a baby to an adult. Steve, are you guilty? Because I realize you can watch me outside. So I don't know where the disconnect happens, but it happens. And if you watch a baby, they couldn't be bothered. They will get back up and try again. So right now, I want you to channel your inner child when it comes to procrastination and try. Steva, try.
I am trying. Okay, listen, I'm happy that you actually mentioned connecting with my inner child. Because, okay, so I've recently started something.
Okay.
Where I use a timer.
Okay.
And I connect with my inner child.
Okay.
Okay, so I set a 10-minute timer and I say, okay, 10 minutes to wash the dishes. I'm serious, and it's been working. It's definitely been working, and I'm getting more done, and I'm going through. And it's a little challenge.
That's good.
And yes, the dish is clean.
At least you took the timer example that I gave, because it is really either starter, when you realize what you can get done within that time, it motivates you to do more, and then you end up extending the time, and you do more within that time. And if you're not sure if you struggle with procrastination, I know I gave an exercise in the beginning and asked you how many times how long it takes you to do that stuff or think of the task and how long you wrote that task. And another thing you can also do is make a list of 10 things that you want to do each day.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, whatever is not completed, you add it to the next day. So if you have 10 things for the day, I hope at least you cross off one, and then you're rolling over the 9 to the next day, and then you add whatever new for the next day, right?
Right.
And then you may notice sometimes 1 or 2 or 3 things keep rolling over. And eventually, you will get tired of writing them down every day.
Right.
So what would happen is you'll be like, hey, Sarah, boy, every day I say I'm going to do that and I'm not doing that. And you realize from since Monday you've been writing that and you've been writing that. What the mind will do now is you'll feel compelled now to cross it off your list. So by default, you'll get in the mood to get it done.
Right. So
you could also look at it that way in terms of your procrastination. But then all of these exercises that we've been doing daily is really to get you to put an end to procrastination. You are in control. This is to remind you that you are in control. You are in control of your tasks. You are in control of what you get done. You have your circle of control, and we try to do stuff in a realistic manner. We're not fabricating. We're not exaggerating. We're not trying to hang our hats too high. But we challenge ourselves just enough so that we can go one step further.
Yes, that's why my 10-minute timer is on. That's the challenge. It's fun. It makes it genuinely, aside from playing the music, it genuinely does make getting the chores, getting the stuff, the little things done. Setting a timer. For example, if I have a document I need to read through and do whatever else, setting a realistic time frame. Give me 20 minutes, get it done, and then take a 5-minute nap. Cat nap. That's not is that 5 minutes is a cat nap? Doesn't it qualify for cat nap?
Well, technically yes, but do you really nap for 5 minutes?
No.
I feel like as soon as your eyes close, the 5 minutes up and running and
it's
go already. Yes, so
Yeah, sometimes desperate times, desperate measures, over 5 minutes, you know. but yeah. Technically, a 5 minute nap is probably like about 3 minutes, really and truly, because
more
you have
like
to take.
more like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it really a cat nap now? That's a.
Shut your eyes for a second.
Yeah. We can't even call that a cat nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah, I'm just going to have to ask you to bring the mic a little closer to you there. Hello. Yeah. So let's see if that sounds a little better. Huh?
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, let's go again.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
right.
you're on.
You can hear me now. Yes.